A child.
Speaking of a little kid, I want to talk about the cute little boy in that PSA I saw on the TV the other day. The PSA is about telling all the parents in the world that they are their kids' role models.
This one's pretty short, maybe too short. Even though the examiner will say, I'd like you to speak about whatever topic for 1 to 2 minutes, and even though the cue card also says 1 to 2 minutes, it's not actually 1 to 2 minutes. You should definitely aim to speak for at least 90 seconds. If you end up speaking for less than that, the examiner is probably going to ask you to talk more about some points that you mentioned, or maybe some points on the cue card that you failed to talk about. So this one here probably falls short of the 90-second mark. Of course, it depends on how you speak, how quickly you speak. I mean, remember, half your score doesn't really depend on what you say, but rather how you say it. I mean, pronunciation and fluency, it's all about how you talk, not necessarily what you say. Having said all that, there is some stuff that I really like. Like, for example, here he says the PSA is about telling all the parents blah 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 blah. Often when I hear people talk about movies or advertisements or books, they will say something like, the advertisement talks about, or the book talks about, or the movie talks about. Now, that's not really right. The author might talk about something in his book, but the book is about a certain topic, a movie is about a certain topic, and in this case, the PSA is about a certain topic. PSAs don't talk, books don't talk, people do. So is the correct verb to be using.
The 45-second PSA opens with a mum washing her little son's feet while telling him a fairy tale.
And then some good and not so good phrases. The 45 seconds PSA. Now, when we use numbers with nouns, they become adjective phrases to describe a noun. So here the PSA is being described by the words 45 seconds. But then the noun should not be pluralized. So it's the 45-second PSA. So if you live in an apartment building, for example, and you're on the 5th floor, and there are a total of, I don't know, let's say 10 floors, it's not a 10 floors building, it's a 10-floor building. But a good phrase they use here is open. So a movie opens or a story opens. It's a good word to use, even though it's so simple.
Then the mum goes to another room to wash her mum's feet, and the little boy sees it and goes to get a basin of hot water for his mum. And cut to the next scene, holding the heavy basin of hot water, he says to his mum, "Mum, I will wash your feet."
And then we have some good language and grammar, and cut to the next scene. Cut is often used with scenes, so this is great. And then this participial phrase, holding the heavy basin of hot water, he says to his mum, blah 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 blah. Good language, good grammar.
The mum smiles happily at that time. This PSA ends with an impressive voiceover. Actually, parents are their children's best teachers. The little boy in this PSA is about 5 years old. Short curly hair, big black eyes, and sweet smile make him look very adorable. Surely his words and behavior impress me most. It proves that children watch and learn. I adore this PSA because it shows a precious virtue in our society, filial piety. I love this little boy even more because I am so impressed by his words and behavior.
Here in the end, we have some good and again not so good. The make is good. So we have some nouns like his hair, his eyes, his smile make him look very adorable. I like how they use the word make. Then not so good. Surely. Again, surely doesn't mean that you are sure of something. Surely means that you guess something is correct. So if it impresses you most, then you are sure of that. So surely is not the correct word to be using here. Then the filial piety, that's great. Problem at the end though. I love this little boy even more, but even more than what? Because just before that, he said, surely his words and behavior impressed me most. Now you're saying, I love him even more. Even more than what? Because I'm so impressed by his words and behavior. But you said before that impresses you. Now you're saying you're even more impressed by the same thing. That doesn't make sense.